Think Bigger, Achieve More, the 5-day success challenge for entrepreneurs and business owners across the world. Hello, and everyone. We are streaming on 3 different platforms today. So we are on Facebook. If you are joining in the group, hello. We are on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube. And if you prefer to register today and join us inside Zoom, I think you find the link to register under the video, under the live video. So you're welcome to join us inside Zoom and ask all your questions and get live advice. So my name is Nina Robert. I'm a success and mindset coach, and this is the Freedom Collective. We are a group of 4 coaches from Europe and the UK. We have with us today Jay Cordery, Polly Liu, and John Power. We are here for you to help you achieve your results in 2025. Simply put, there is always a better way to do things. There is always a smarter and easier way to manifest your results, to reach your goals, and to bring your business and your goals to the next level effortlessly and easily. This is our purpose. This is what we're here for. And today is day 3. So a little recap about day 1 and day 2. If you weren't able to join us, that's okay, because if you registered using your email, you will find the recording in your inbox, or you can watch the previous lives on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you can get all the information there. So day 1 and day 2 were about 2 things, basically. We asked a couple of questions and we focused basically on the concept of setting up the right goal for you. And this is basically the first step that you need to do. Figure out if that is the right goal for you, if that is really what you want. We really focused on that because this is not simply put something that we are taking for granted, meaning that we are not asking ourselves this question as honestly and responding it as honestly and as straightforwardly as possible. Because first of all, we do not ask the question often, and second of all, some people don't even dare to ask the question or think they know what they want, but they actually don't. So end up focusing or following a goal that is not theirs, that is not meant for them, that is not helping them grow. Sometimes setting up a goal that is too big so that they face doubt and challenges and frustration and eventually give up. And some other times they end up setting up achievable goals, small steps, baby steps, and trying to climb the ladder one step after the other. That does not mean that the goal is not good, but probably not going to help you grow. The purpose of a goal is to help you grow. So this is what we explained in day 1, basically setting up the right goal for you by asking this simple question: what do I really want? The second day, we focused on what is holding you back. That is basically your paradigm. We talked about strategy versus mindset in business, especially. And we talked about how strategy is only 5% of your success, while mindset is 95%. So mindset, your self-image, your paradigm, your conditioning, and especially the way you do things, the way you act and behave every day, the way you run your business, the way you set up different steps, different strategies in your business. So that's not the strategy itself, that's the way you apply it. And we had a couple of questions from our attendees yesterday talking about the steps or the strategies they've been applying, how some of them felt really uncomfortable, so they thought of giving up. And we talked about it's probably not the strategy itself that's making you uncomfortable, but it's the person you are today who is uncomfortable doing the things that will allow them to reach that goal, to become that person whose that goal is achievable. So after that, and today is day 3, we are going to talk about exactly how to become that person. Because, okay, you probably know the strategy, you probably have a very good business plan, or if you're not in business, you probably have a goal or have a passion or a dream that you want to pursue. You know exactly what to do, but for some reason you end up not doing it because something inside you subconsciously is preventing you from doing it, or because you haven't really grown into that person who's going to be able to do that effortlessly. You probably, for example, for me, for example, when I launched my business, I was even too shy to even speak to people, to talk to customers, to go to networking events, to be out there on social media talking. The concept of a live video was super scary for me. I was like all blushing and stuttering and not feeling comfortable at all speaking in public. So that was my paradigm, that I was shy. I thought of myself as someone who is introverted, who is not capable of speaking accurately and having really like some presence around people and on social media. This was my limiting belief. This was my paradigm. This was my conditioning, and probably many other people's as well. So what I did is basically focused first on transforming myself into that person who is comfortable speaking in public, who is comfortable going to networking events, and putting myself out there and talking about my business and being confident talking about my business, and expect people to project that image of myself that I'm projecting. So this is going to be day 3, the self-image, and everything about the self-image that will be preventing you or pushing you towards your goal, towards your dream, and towards everything you want. The self-image is a part of our paradigm. So if you haven't been able to join us on day 2, we explained what a paradigm is. If it's the first time you're hearing this term, a paradigm is a set of habits, of self-beliefs, your belief about yourself, the conditioning that is related to your character, your personality, your daily habits, your attitude, everything that you're actually doing on autopilot every day. You're not asking yourself the question every day to make a different decision about what you like, what you dislike, what you're comfortable doing, what makes you feel frustrated and uncomfortable, what scares you. All of these things are like a software parameter that is hidden in the background of your mind, and that is driving you to do the things that you do the way you do them. So the self-image is a part of that paradigm, of that big software. The self-image is basically the image you have about yourself, the way you project yourself to others, the way you think others perceive you, but also your opinion about yourself. And that will dictate the level of comfort that you have around people, the level of comfort you have around yourself to set up goals that are bigger than you. In day 1, we said that your goal needs to be bigger than you. If your goal is already something you've achieved, you've got something similar, or something you can actually figure out quite easily how to do, it's probably not going to be allowing you to grow. It's probably not going to help you become that person, that future version, that better version of yourself. So a goal is supposed to help you stretch. I'm saying help you, but sometimes that help comes with a challenge, comes with discomfort. And that is okay, because you have to stretch out of the comfort zone. You have to stretch out of that paradigm. You have to change that paradigm. Yesterday, we talked about something also very interesting that I want to remind you of today, is that what we call the knowing doing gap. This is what you know, and this is what you end up doing. You know exactly what to do in business, or you know exactly what to do in school, you know exactly what to do at work, but the way you do it, you end up doing it slightly differently, or maybe so differently that it doesn't really get you the result you want. And you're wondering what's in between. Why can't I do the things that I know how to do? I know I'm supposed to go and talk to this person and propose my services, or I'm supposed to apply that strategy that I wrote down somewhere, but for some reason I disregarded it and I completely forgotten about it. That is your paradigm. That is your conditioning, stepping between what you know you can do, or what you know how to do, and what you end up doing. And we talked about bridging that gap. Basically, one idea that Jay shared yesterday is, I think that inspired me a lot, is that basically don't do what you know, do something else, learn something else, unlearn what you have been doing, the way you have been doing things so far, and learn something else. Learn another way, another attitude, another behavioral routine, for example. Implement new strategies, but also implement new habits. That will help you I wouldn't say fight the old paradigm, because fighting the old paradigm will only bring it strongly and more challenging than before, but implementing or putting in place a new paradigm. So three maybe takeaways from here. First, the paradigm is subconscious. Second, we can change it through repetition or through implementing a new set of habits, a new paradigm. And third, this is how we end up bridging the knowing doing gap, by basically trying to unlearn by learning something new. And I'm not talking about learning new information. This is very important, because it's very easy to sign up to a new course, getting a new training, get a certification in sales, blah, blah, blah. All of these things are available, and many people have done so many trainings, have joined so many courses, have read so many books. This is collecting information. That is not learning to behave a certain way. That is not getting a proper education in terms of mindset. The education or the learning we're talking about is learning to think in another way, and learning to behave in another way. And this is the exact thing that will allow you to bridge that gap between what you know you should be doing and what you end up doing. John, yes, go ahead.
Hey Nina, I'm just looking at one of the questions in the poll that you've put up, and it's if your business results reflect your mindset, what does that say about your current thinking? And I actually had a great conversation with a guy today, and he's a painter and decorator. We were just got into the conversation about when you want to get to the point in your business where you go from being self-employed to uh, basically being more than a one-man band, and you want to employ somebody else. What do you do? Because I think all of us have been in this situation, either in business that we have employed people that it didn't work out with, or we wish you'd never employed them, or we end up working with people and for somebody else, and you're thinking, well, why is this person working here? And we just got into the conversation that he was saying that when he got to a point where I think he had 6 or 7 people, and when you get to that point, you actually spend your time then running around after the people who are working for you, as opposed to doing any of the work. So you have to step away from the tools, as it were, and then you're organizing other people. So you're turning into a manager then, as opposed to the business owner. And the problem with that is that what we expect is, we expect the people who are working for us to love the business as much as we do. We expect them to be a mini me, and they never will be, because they're never going to have the same passion for the business that you do. And that's the mistake I feel that we made, and that we make. And then with the companies that I've helped, everybody pretty much agrees with that statement. And I think we all fall into this trap where we, so say, we'll just pick a trade of painting and decorating, for example. If you are really good at your job, well, first and foremost, you have to love what you do, right? Otherwise, what's the point in doing it? Because running your business, you do more hours than you do and you probably get less pay and more hours initially than when you work for somebody else. Because most people, when they start their own business or they step away from a corporate job, they get less money, and then you have to do more hours. You get less benefits, certainly when you're starting off. But then you get to a point where you need to employ somebody. And as I say, you tend to think, we'll go for the paint and decorate analogy, that you can, okay, well, I can paint this room in a day and I can earn 100. And then you think, well, if I can employ somebody else, if I pay them 50 and they can paint the same as me, then I can pay them 50 and I can make 50. And then if I pay somebody else, so I'm still making my 100 painting this room, the other 2 people are painting those rooms. I'm paying them 50 each, so there's 100, and they can make another 50 each. So I've made 100, and then I've made 50 each of them is another 100. So you just think, if I keep doing that, I'm going to get all of these extra 50s a day, and I'm going to be really wealthy and have a great time. But the problem is that when you employ people, then you're managing people. You're not running your business, you're managing people. And that's a whole different thing and a whole different skill set. And so you're going to get people who turn up late. people who are unreliable, people who don't do the same quality of work as you. They maybe don't turn up as presentable as you might want them to. They miss days without telling you. They want days off very short notice. All of these kind of problems. Or they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. So, and if you have one or two people like that, then suddenly you're getting complaints off your clients, and and this whole thing snowballs. So most people, they either and you get to the situation as well is that people tend to employ their friends and their family. Now people say they don't, but most of the people I spoke to do. They will employ somebody who they know really well, possibly a friend or a relation of a friend of theirs or a family member. And then the problem is that you don't want to sack them because you know their family and they're saying to you, "Oh, look, I need this job and just give me one more chance." And you know they should be gone, right? Because it's costing you money. But because you feel bad about it, you keep them on. And this can just be a vicious circle. So I just say to people, you have to be honest. When you're taking somebody on in the first place, don't expect them to be you, right? But employ them in an area where doing something either you don't like or something an area that you're not very strong in, but it has to be something that they love doing. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. So find the people who love doing the thing that you don't like doing, and there's plenty of people that do, and be very straight with them. Just say, look, I'm going to give you a trial period, and so that we don't fall out about this, we're going to sit down after a week or 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is, and we're going to have an honest conversation. You're going to tell me how you're feeling about this. I'm going to tell you how I'm feeling about this. And if it doesn't work out, we have to be straight with each other and part ways, no hard feelings. And if you're honest with somebody from the start, then it's not a big deal when you have to say, look, this isn't working out. And it's a lot easier to do it that way than to take somebody on and then because what we want to do is pass responsibility onto somebody else to alleviate the pressure on us. And the reason I love that question, it says, if your business results reflect your mindset, what does that say about your current thinking? And that's generally the way we do. We go to expand because we want to make more money and we take on the wrong people for the wrong reasons. Well, we think it's the right reasons, but we don't know any different. And that's just what I've learned from the business that I spoke to and all the feedback I'm getting is that look for the area that you're weak in and or an area that you don't like to do, or an area that's taking up a lot of your time. And get somebody in who loves what they do. And spend a lot of time interviewing people because that's another area where people don't like to interview. Most people don't even interview. They just they just say, "Do you want the job?" Yeah, my sister Mary's son, whatever, my nephew or my nephew's girlfriend or whatever it is, she's good at whatever. Brilliant. When can she start?
Yeah.
Because we just want to get rid of the problem and just give it to somebody who can do it. If they say they can do it, we're like, yahoo, nice one. And we give no thought to that. And then we're stuck with somebody we don't really want if it doesn't work out. So the interviewing process has to be a big deal, and you have to ask them and test them on whatever it is. Say, right, come on, work for the day, or if it's doing a Facebook thing or it's an ad or whatever it is, here's an ad, do one of them. If it works out, brilliant, you've got the job. So there's just a few things. I hope that's helped in some way with regards to the mindset about your business.
I think that certainly helped, John, and it's always amazing to hear like accurate examples from a true business owner. So, Jay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to tag on to that. It's the same when you are trying to find a coach or a mentor or someone to work with, and same with coaches and mentors and business owners trying to find clients. It's got to be in harmony. You've got to kind of gel. If you don't get on or find yourself grinding your teeth when this person speaks, they're never going to work. You could hire the absolute top coach in the entire world. And if you don't like the way they speak or you don't like the way they come across, it's never going to work. So I just thought I'd throw that in on the end of John's awesome little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I have had a question. Yeah, first, Polly, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more just based on my image, because my self-image has changed 3 times to be who I am today. And that was not effortless. That was with a lot of struggle, but also a lot of empowerment. Whenever I'm looking at my self-image, I always look at it in a way as of, is this reflecting the real me, the current me? And I'm saying this because just to throw the context for those who join in today, I decided to go into this, and when I got thrown out of my toxic job, I used to be in a senior manager position, and I got thrown out because of my boss was just horrible, basically. But also at the time, I was already in a sector for about 14 years. I was getting bored of what I do as well. But, just like how our mind are just so stubborn to change. So even though I got thrown out of my toxic job, I still saw maybe it's just my manager. Maybe it's the problem was about manager. Maybe if I get on a new job, that would change the situation. So at that time, I started getting a lot more headhunters approaching me for different higher paid job, like twice as my previous salary. And I thought, brilliant, I'm gonna go for the interview. I'm gonna prove my previous manager wrong. So I got into the interview, and it was a seat at the top table, basically. But I got stuck. And as soon as they asked me the very first question, which I still reflect it every day as of now, the very first question at the interview is, why do you want to do this job? I could not answer that question. Even though it was a high-paid job, even though I know the title was attractive, even though that means I can prove everybody wrong. But at that moment, I pulled back. I feel like I was in kind of different kind of a parallel universe. I was reflecting that myself and thinking, yeah, why do I want this job?
Yeah.
I know the job sucks. I know that means I'll be doing the dirty work for my manager. I'll be the laughing dog again. I'll be going through all the power struggle. I'll be going through all the crap, and I'll be doing exactly the same thing for another 10 years. I don't want that. So I end up leaving the interview feeling very shattered. I had a massive cry for 1 hour afterwards, because I realized at that point, I've got to say goodbye to my previous self-image. I've got to say goodbye to the former me that was in a position for 14 years. That means I've got to start from scratch. And that was a very scary thought at that time. But I'm really, really glad I did, because I've got to end a chapter in order to start another chapter again. So again, I had to start something new. Then I thought to myself, am I going to get into the career coaching? So I got the qualification, I got the strategies in, and then I start applying all of that. But again, I was full of struggle. And I said to myself, why do I feel struggling every day? Because I know I want to do this. I want to help other people. I'm doing everything else everyone else is doing, but why is everyone succeeding and I'm not doing right? And again, it took me a long time to realize I missed the trick. I didn't do the inner work. I was foolish enough. I thought I could just apply the strategy. I have a big dream. I have the strategy. I could just apply the strategy as my normal, as me, who was of a former self, that as a senior manager. I didn't need to change myself. I just need to do the thing, take the action, and the result be the same. It's not the same, because I was still the former me. I was not changing a bit. I didn't work on myself because I thought I can just do, because nobody told me that I had to change myself in order to do the job. Everyone just said to me, you learn the qualification, you set up a business license, you do all the marketing, all the sales, and the money will come to your way. I did all of that. Money did not come to my way. But instead, every day I felt I was a failure. I feel imposter. So then I said to myself, all right, I have to work on my self-image. How am I going to do that? So that's my third time changing. And I said, okay, I'm going to learn this. And I start learning about self-image, and I start learning how other people apply the self-image. So what did I do? I start copying what everybody else's self-image is. So people said, oh, I decided I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to become the top salesperson. I'm going to learn buckets of money every month. So that's exactly what I did. So every morning I write it down. I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to be the top salesperson for So I start writing all this down every day. And I even do the visualization. I did the projection work. But still, every time I did, I just like, it's not quite right. It's not quite right. I don't know why. It works on other people, but it didn't work on myself. So again, it took me a really long time to realize it's because that's not my self-image. That's not what I want. I just keep copying about everybody else, but that is not mine. If I want myself to be successful, I've got to create my own version of self. And that requires a lot of soul digging. But then once I really do realize what I want, I put on a massive goal that really excites me and excites and scares me. Every day I wake up, I start imagining my future self. I start projecting what's the perfect day for Polly, not for everybody else, but for me. And then just by imagining it, I start feeling stronger and stronger every day. I start having things coming to my way. And I start growing the self-image. It was so vivid. I feel like every day I feel like play a movie in my head. I was the star of the movie. I start thinking to myself, what's my perfect day is gonna be like? What kind of impact I'm gonna have? What kind of people I'm going to serve? And then for doing this, I really do feel I'm now growing into the real version of myself, the version that I really love doing things I do every day. So this will be the really great realization I will give to myself every day. And then to every one of you who are watching online, do ask yourself every day, why do you want this job? And secondly, are you that person? Are you that person today to do what you want to do every day? So that was my little tips. Yeah, hope that's helpful.
That's so inspiring, Polly. I really love your story, and it's not very easy to actually change the self-image, not once, but 3 times. So that takes lots of courage, and that takes a lot of awareness as well. Your awareness that your current self-image is not allowing you to get where you want to be, so you have to change it. And that is not an easy process. It's definitely achievable. There is definitely a fun way to do that, a fun way to work with ourselves, but especially the first time, it's not an obvious thing to do. It is so foreign for us to get to know ourselves, like the subconscious part, the limiting beliefs, all the stuff that is really buried deep inside that is actually preventing us from getting where we want to go. Because where we want to go, that is not us now that have achieved that. That is the future us. And in order for us to achieve that, get there, have that, whatever it is, whatever your goal is, whatever your business goal or income goal or relationship goal, could be really anything. This is so general. This concept is universal. If you want to go somewhere that you've never been before, you cannot go there being you, the version of you that is today. Yes, John, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just reading the questions. I love this. I was about to say one thing and I've just changed my mind because I've lost Malcolm's question, but I think it was something along the lines of that you want to employ somebody, but there it would cut. Well, I want to find it properly because I want to answer this properly.
I've got it here, John. It says, my current issue is that the cost of the person I want to hire is too high. I do not want to hire someone good only to have to let them go. I may need to find alternative solutions like hiring a retiree or a part-time salesperson.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Jay. Actually, just realized, sorry, I have to say, because I've been messaging Jay directly. I thought I was putting things on for everyone. She messaged me saying, John, you keep sending that to me. Oh, sorry. So sorry about that. Yeah, Malcolm, that's a brilliant question. I actually, would you believe, had this conversation with a client about 10 days ago. And this was the exact question because it was about implying somebody they want, and what we came up with is you really have to consider where you want your business to go. And that's the whole thing. What direction do you want your business to go in? if you feel that this particular person, I don't know if it's a particular person or if it's a person with this skills that you need, but our conversation was about a particular person who has these skills, and he wanted to employ this person. And through the conversation, we felt for him to take the business where he wanted to go, he needed this person. So sometimes it's worth just approaching them and asking them and being straight and just saying, look, this is where I am with the business. This is where I want to go with it. This is why I want you involved in it. And, you know, what are you prepared? What compensation are you looking for? Now, sometimes they will say yes. I mean, the person I was talking to, would you believe, actually, they said they wanted 200,000 a year. So because this is such a high level business that they were speaking about, he was actually going to have to pay this guy more than he was getting, because there was just, although it was I know when you say that to some people, 200,000 sounds like a lot. To others, it's not much. But where his business was going, he would have to, this guy he was going to employ was going to be the highest wages he had, and it was going to be more than him. But the reason we decided for him to go and do this was because he needed that expertise. And for him to get that money, we arranged to go for a meeting and to just be straight with him and say, look, I can't afford to give you what you want at this moment in time. And I'm not sure where they were with it, but I know he was kind of saying 160, 170,000. So I'm not sure where he is with it. I have to have a meeting with him actually tomorrow, Thursday at 5. Yeah, tomorrow. So I know that the decision was not to, I know it's easy to say, well, look, they cost so much. Maybe I can get somebody who's not quite as good, or somebody's just coming up, or as you mentioned, somebody who's retiring who was in that position, maybe do a part-time. But the problem with that is that we're kind of codding ourselves, really. We're not doing ourselves any justice, because we're shortchanging ourselves, because for you to even consider that person means that's where you want to go with it. And so you need to stick to that. You need to make a decision. I am not going to change where I want to go with this business, and to speak to that person and just keep hammering away until they say yes. Because one thing is, everybody loves to be complimented. If you're chasing somebody, you're headhunting somebody, that's a good compliment, because you're basically saying, look, you are shit hot at your job, and I want you in my business. And sometimes if your business is a lot smaller, they actually want to do that, because it puts them in a position where they can actually get their hands dirty, get involved in something that they love doing, and that they actually get a chance to expand with it. And you can also offer some kind of shares in the business if they grow it by a certain percentage. You can have a talk about contracts and different things. And I mean, if you have any specific questions, anybody here be more than happy to jump on a call and help you out in any way with that kind of thing, because it's too much really to go into here. But I would say definitely 100% go for that person and book a call with them. Have a good conversation and just be 100% honest and say you want them. Like, what's the deal here? What can I get you for? What's going to make you say yes? And ask them. Just say, how am I going to get a yes from you? And see what they say. You never know. But I would just, keep going for it. That's brilliant. I love the fact that you've written that. Good on you. I hope that's helped. And contact us directly if you want an actual call and more information, because we would gladly help.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, John. And thank you, Malcolm, for asking the question. Yes, Polly?
Also, I want to add on a little bit more context based on Malcolm's question. Malcolm, I saw I could only understand based on the text that you're putting in, you're thinking about potentially hiring a retiree or part-time salesperson. So I guess you want to grow your sales. I guess that's what you wanted to do. And I can say that I don't have hiring experiences for my business just yet, but then I did used to lead a global sales team. So I had experience of hiring teams from all over the world. So this was so your question reminds me of a constant dilemma I used to have to fight when I was thinking about hiring somebody to expand the business and to grow the sales. Because whenever I previously had to make the business case to the senior management board about hiring somebody, they'll keep saying it's a cost. We want to cut down the staff costs. Can you make work a lot more efficiently? Could you find it from somewhere else? can you give it to somebody else to do this job rather than, hiring in-house staff? And I always had to justify that. But then there are 2 points I justified. The first is, do not think of that as a cost. Think of that as an investment. Whenever I'm used to write business case, I always have to justify return of investment. I always have to say, yes, this person's salary, but I anticipate this person will be growing this part of sales, which generate whatever incomes in 3 to 5 years. And then this is the added on benefit of hiring this person, because this person can help the team, help me to do this A and B and C. And yes, of course, when we are hiring the staff, we always have to run the risk of this person might leave, even after we give all the trainings and all the resources, this person may leave because, they have their own free will after all. But then I wouldn't think of that just yet, because you don't know how this person is going to react. This person may leave, this person may stay, you just don't know. So we're always working on the unknown. If you're in the phase of growing the business, then probably look at it in a more, looking at an angle in a more beneficial way, looking at all the positivity that you want, why you want to grow your business. How could this person help you to get there? What is the return of investment having this person on board with you, so that you can spare your time to do something that could generate far more profit for your business? Because I assume the reason why you want to outsource is because you want to use your time a lot more effectively, to do a lot more strategic planning, to expand more business somewhere else, improve. And these are all very, very invaluable. So rather than putting your hours into do something a little bit more lower level, you might think about the fact that you get your time freedom. You can spare your headspace to do something a lot more strategic, and you could potentially find a great support who can help you to expand the business in the long run. And the last, just keep saying to yourself, I'm a great leader. I'm a great leader. I could help nurture this person for the business to expand for the years to come. So keep reinforcing yourself this image and this new self-image, because you're gonna grow into a manager. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Polly. And so there is another question that I've received a couple hours before we start, and I think it joins Malcolm's question as well. So Malcolm, you elaborated that your concern is now whether the business can wear the cost till they break even. So this is basically a manifestation of some kind of doubt. And the question I had earlier is from Maria. She's asking also about doubt. So the question is, sometimes we have clear objectives, but when results are not appearing, we can have a doubt and then change the direction. My current challenge is knowing when to continue and when to stop following an objective, which can be the wrong one. So this is basically how doubt manifests. So I have a couple of questions to ask, as you can ask yourself, Maria, or anyone else who's facing probably the same situation. Ask yourself this: is doubt coming from a lack of results or a lack of belief in the process? So there is a difference. When you start doubting your strategy or your approach, is it because you cannot see results yet? Or is it because you don't actually feel that you're doing the right thing? It's some kind of intuitive talk that's telling you this is not the right thing. I don't believe in this process. So maybe it's not because you're not seeing the results yet. There is absolutely a time for results to manifest. This is a universal law, but probably a lack of belief. So if you do not believe in the process, there's a few things you can do. Maybe test the process realistically and tangibly to see if the process is really doable, like a proof of concept that we do in business. And it's most probably also your paradigm. So your paradigm will also dictate what you believe or what you don't believe in. And this will manifest in the way you approach things. So if I'm facing my clients every day and talking about my business and talking about what I can do for them, but in the back of my head, I'm not actually convincing even myself I'm not going to be able to convince others. And as a result, others cannot believe me. So if I don't believe in the process, I don't believe in my business, in the value I'm bringing, and in my strategy, how can others buy this idea? How can others follow me and actually want to work with me? So this could be really generalized in other aspects of life. It could be, for example, about your health. You want to lose weight, you want to become fit, but you don't see yourself as that fit person yet. That's belief, because the process works. Millions of people have done this before, and millions of people have set up a goal and went and achieved it. I'm talking about this, for example, this health or fitness goal. We have seen proof that this works. So if you're applying that diet or that routine or that fitness plan and you don't see results, it's not because the results aren't coming yet, probably because you don't believe in the approach or you don't believe you can do this. So this is basically the self-image speaking to you, your paradigm telling you, I'm not that person yet. John or Polly, who wants to go first?
John's raised a hand first, so John, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Polly. It was for Victory's asked a great question there. Says, please, any more tips or insights? I know Polly's probably mad to answer this question, but I think get there before you. I'm just going to do a practical thing here. You can do the whole mindset. You're good at that. It says, please, any more tips or insights on being your real authentic self and putting yourself out there and speaking your truth? Well, we have a program called 28 Days of Gratitude, which we're going to be talking a bit more about tomorrow as well. And the great thing about that is it gets you into the habit. The whole point of the program is, because it's called 28 Days of Gratitude, is to set yourself little short-term goals and goals that you can actually achieve, right? Now, we always speak about a big C-type goal, and that is what we want, but that's your long-term goal. But we also speak about little milestones, and this is perfect for that. So what that is basically is you write your goal, and even if you don't know what it is at the moment, your big goal, you just set a little goal. So something you're going to achieve at the end of 28 days, or at the end of that month. And then what you do is you write out your goal and you put your date on it for the end of that month. And then you write 6 goal achieving activities. So this is a very practical thing you can do every single morning. And it only takes literally about 15 minutes to get all this done. And it's a great way to start your day. And so, as I say, you set your goal, you write 6 goal achieving activities, and then you write 10 things you're grateful for. And it's great if you, like, we have a music connected to this, but if you just want to play whatever you want, just a bit of soothing music, just to kind of chill you out and just let your mind wander and just write things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be big things. It can literally be you're grateful for getting up that morning. You're grateful that somebody handed you a cup of tea. You're grateful that you got a parking space. Whatever it is, just subtle little things. You're grateful that somebody smiled at you. You're grateful for a bit of kindness. And what that does is that puts you into a great headspace. And then after that, you send love to 3 people. Now, it could be 3 people that bother you, somebody that's upsetting you at that particular time, and send love to them. It doesn't mean that, if somebody's really hurt you, that, you suddenly want to wish them a great life. But what that does mean is you're not holding on to that hurt. You're just saying, look, that person isn't going to control this hurt anymore. You're just letting it go. And then finally, you write on the end, you asking guidance for the day. Whether you ask God for guidance for the day, whether you ask a lot of people actually, because we do calls on this, and it can be somebody who's maybe passed, a relative or a close friend, or even somebody that's still alive and they're living, maybe the other side of the world. And you just ask them, you just say, it could be your father. So you just say, look, hey, Dad, I'm doing this thing today. I want to, if you're looking now, you just keep an eye on me because, I know how much you were good at this and I could do a bit of advice and, just keep a watch over me today and help me and guide me, whatever I'm doing. And so by the time you've done that, as I said, you've set your goal, you've done your 6 goal achieving activities, you've written out 10 things you're grateful for, you sent love to 3 people, you've asked for guidance for the day. And then I always put at the end, like, today is a wonderful day, or one of the things that can happen for me today, and draw a stupid face, a little smiley face, something that just makes you smile. And the whole point of this is when Victory's saying about putting yourself out there and speaking the truth, and being authentic. Because you're doing this for you personally, you're setting your goals. You're writing out 6 goal achieving activities. So that's the activities you're going to do that day to bring you closer to that goal. And if you only do one of them, that's fine. On the next day, you just write number 2 to 5 as your first 6 and then just put another one on the bottom. If you achieve 2, 3, doesn't matter. The point of it is you're just writing them down. You're thinking of ideas and you're getting creative about moving you closer to that goal. And by doing that, you are being honest with yourself, because you're talking about gratitude, your goals, you're sending love, you're asking for guidance. So all of those things combined get you started off really well that day, and you're working your way to achieving a goal. As I say, the whole point of it is you're getting to a habit, because losing's a habit and winning's a habit. And if you set that out every single morning, just takes 15 minutes, you get in a habit of winning. And then when you do that, you and always praise yourself, celebrate your little wins. You get to the end of the month, celebrate whatever it is. Set another one and keep going. You keep doing that and keep doing that, and your goals will get bigger and bigger. You'll see more success, and you'll get more confident and more confident, and it'll just keep getting bigger and it'll keep growing. So I hope that's helped a little bit about the practicality of the thing. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Polly, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to touch a different angle on what John just said. For whatever reason, the Victor's question really connect with me and reminds me of something I just realized about last week. So I used to be a very geeky child. I love reading books. I was a proper bookworm. I was a proper introvert. And I got into a massive shock once I got into kindergarten, because I got picked up, because I was not interested in engaging with other children. Other children would be running around, throwing toys to each other. All I wanted to do was read my book. And so obviously that was not a very popular one. So I ended up having to change myself to force myself to fit into the context of being the alpha child, which is go out, pretend that I'm a happy jolly every day, go out and make friends, be loud, be extrovert, to the point everybody thought I was extrovert, and I was extrovert as well. And being in the sales department, everybody was very loud, trust me on that. So, and it was only until about 5 years ago, and I was already in a senior position. And at one time, I saw one of my senior colleagues reading books. I saw him, whenever I see him in the coffee shop, he's always reading books. So it got me curious. One day I approached him and I said, Gary, I saw you every day. Every time I saw you reading books. And he looked up to me when he was holding the book, said, yes, Polly, I love reading books. That threw me like a brick, because it literally just shocked me, because I said to myself, I love book too. How could saying such an authenticity that I could absolutely relate? And then so I went back and I just had a massive shock, and I'm reflecting on all of this. And the next time when I saw him again, I said, Gary, I love book too. And I end up forming a book club. Anyway, it's a very long story, but what I wanted to say, and in relations to this, is one of the things I've come to realize being your authentic self is you've got to love who you truly are. Are you who you truly are? Or are you forcing yourself to be who you are not meant to be? And that's a very, very important question to ask ourselves every day. Are you who you are? Are you who you truly are? And do you love who you truly are? Because these are the very important questions to ask ourselves every day, because you've got to love your authentic self first in order to make others love you and accept you. Because once you start loving yourself every day, you will get to know how brilliant you are, how unique you are, how empowering you are, how you can change the world with your mission, with your uniqueness. So once you start loving yourself a bit more, then you can, and once you love yourself more, you start falling in love with yourself, and you want to share with the world about how brilliant you are. That's a very natural process. Not to say it's easy, it's not, but then this is just a general context of how you can be true, who you truly are, and then be standing out there, share your true story to other people. And another context I want to throw in is when I got out of my toxic job. Again, my self-image, self-esteem, self-confidence was completely shattered. If anybody have gone to that kind of situation, you would know how soul destroying the whole process could be. So once I got out of my toxic job, it took me about a year to fully recover from that. And every day I had to fight with the misperception other people have given me to me, the bad label my previous manager gave it to me. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship, whether this is your parents, your partners, your boss, you know the kind of gaslighting tactic can really make you lose your confidence fully. So you've got to rebuild all of that. So if you start thinking yourself, you can't, you've got to think, is it because somebody said you can't, or you truly can't? And if you truly can't, but you want to change that, can you change the perception? There is something called law of polarity, which is what we teach as well. If you have a negative, you have a positive. This is just how the universe works. So if you can say something bad about yourself, you can definitely think something good about yourself. You just don't believe that yet. So even if you don't believe that, but you really, really want to work on it, I definitely would suggest just write that down every day on things you cannot do. And then fold a piece of paper to the other side, just say, I can. Say the opposite sentence. So let's just say if you said, I cannot stand there to do public speaking. Because every time when you say this negative language to yourself, it actually changes your biology.
Mm-hmm.
It will make your body say, I cannot do public speaking. And then hence I cannot. The body just say, I cannot. So you've got to change that. So if you say you cannot, write it down. The other side, I can do public speaking. I can. And then start thinking, why can I do it? And how can I do it? And who will I become once I'm doing a public speaking? And then work on that every day. Because the more you start doing the work, the more you realize how brilliant you truly are. You just forget about it. All you need to do is to get it back, just to remember who you truly are. And then just love doing the process, doing that process every day. And you get to know who you truly are more and more and fall in love with yourself. So I hope that answers the question. But yeah, again, if you have any more questions, feel free to come back and we can answer more.
Wonderful. Thank you, Polly. Jay, go ahead.
I was just going to add on the fact it triggered a memory for me about books and everything else. I was such a rebel as a child. I was so extroverted, so this. I used to get grounded pretty much every single week. But it was because I was back late from my curfew. You had to be in before it got dark. And the reason I was late most weeks is because I was sitting in the park in a tree reading a book. And when you're reading a book, especially a good book, you don't realize it gets dark until you're like, oh no, that's a 5-minute run home. So I was always late because I was reading a book. And that links into, I think it's like the self-identity and the self-image as well. So for me, I've gone through life, again, very introverted, but introverted in the fact of I prefer my own company. I build my own energy. I don't need to suck other people's energy away from them to boost me. I boost myself. So I've always been on the outskirts, always. And that's just, I've accepted that. That's just, I quite like being on the outskirts. It's great. But we were asked a question a little while ago on in the YouTube. So people watching on YouTube, thank you for engaging in the chat as well. And it asked what the difference was between self-image and identity, and what our thoughts were on that. And for me, my self-image is what I see myself as in here, and who I am and who I want to be. And identity is kind of like how everyone else sees me and the box that they want me to fit into. So not going too deep into it because my small child is still awake, annoyingly. Come out of a relationship recently. I was being forced to be put into a box of their design. And when I decided, actually, no, I don't like my box, and decided to start pushing my arms out and my legs out and become like a little box troll and start poking my head up outside of my box, that's when things went wrong. And then I had the choice at that point, do I carry on trying to fit in my box and post up the holes, or do I break out of the box completely and be me? And I tested both for a little while. And when I was being me and true to me, I was so much happier. That person wasn't at all in any way, shape, or form. But I came to the realization, I can't remember where I heard it, but it was a little while ago that I heard that basically I am the only person who lives with me 24/7. There's only me that lives in here. So if I'm not happy with me, then I need to change something. I shouldn't change something to fit somebody else, to make somebody else happy. I'm the only person I live with 24/7. If somebody else doesn't like me, go and find somebody else. And that's the kind of realization that I've come to. But the question that was asked was, what's the difference between self-image and identity? So what do you guys think? Do you want to add on to a little bit more on that one?
I do. Yeah, I do. So identity, I think, in my opinion, is the way you project yourself to others, the way you want or you think others perceive you and define you, your definition by other people, but your self-image is really subconscious. Many people do not or cannot define their self-image. They do not know who they are yet, or definitely not. Sometimes people carry on all their lives being someone they're not, simply because they do not dare to ask themselves, who am I? What do I want? What am I actually like? How do I perceive myself? What kind of opinion do I have about myself? And the answer is usually very scary. And then we think we project ourselves to other people in a certain way, but finally people can perceive us even differently than we think we're projecting ourselves to. I don't know if that makes sense, but most importantly, what I want to add here is that if you suppress your true self, your true character, your true dreams, your goals, your personality, your passions, that will turn into a disease. Literally, your body will fight it, will perceive it as a suppression of emotions, of passions, of goals, of really think of it as a seed inside you that wants to grow, that wants to become a new version of you, and you're just suppressing it, saying no, you cannot be here, you cannot exist because I'm supposed to be someone else. That little thing inside you is going to become something foreign, something alien inside you, and that will cause anxiety, that will cause depression, that will cause sometimes even some mental illnesses. In my story, maybe it's too late to share it now, but in summary, I developed an autoimmune disease because of that. Like, some part of myself was suppressing itself, saying you do not have the right to exist because I was supposed to be someone else, until I said, well, enough is enough. I now can admit to myself, this is what I want, this is who I am, and I'm going to express myself. I'm going to express my goals and my dreams and my desires so bluntly and so bravely. And then everything shifted. I became that person. I became that person who can achieve that goal. I wouldn't be able to become that person to achieve my goal, to launch my business, to write my books, to have my clients, to help other people, if I suppressed myself and if I kept saying, no, this is not the way we do it. We have to be someone else. We have to behave in another way, and so on and so forth. So this is my opinion about the difference between self-image and identity. And to wrap up, I think we've come to an end. This was an amazing session. So today we talked about the self-image, and we talked about how in business doubt can be originated from two things, two main causes: lack of results or lack of belief in the process. So you have to pay attention to that, and you have to double check every time, almost every day, who you are, what do you want. Talk to yourself, ask the question again and again, because the first few times this question is not usual. This is a foreign question, so far away, so hidden in our subconscious that we do not dare to answer it properly and bravely. So ask the question again and again until you feel flexible enough and comfortable enough responding to yourself. You may take yourself for granted. This is to say, okay, I know what I want. Of course I know. I'm here. I'm me. I know what I want and who I am. But that is not always true. There is a part of you that is subconscious. There is a part of you that is your paradigm that is very well hidden. Sometimes you don't even remember how you got some new habits and some fears and some traumas. So keep asking yourself the questions again and again. You'll be amazed of the kind of answers you'll get after a couple of times of trying. So I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts, words to share. Yes, Polly.
I just wanted to share a very, very powerful message that appears in my dream. You know, dream could be a very good place where our subconscious mind giving us all the answers. So when I was struggling with my self-image and about who other people think could work and who I really wanted to be, and I think at one time, in one night, I had a dream. In that dream, there was a really, really powerful message to me. It actually asked me this question: what if you truly can be who you want to be? What if you truly can be who you want to be? And interestingly, in a dream, after following the question, it literally come out with a flashback. It come out with a flashback with all the things that I used to manage to do when I truly believe in myself. It's almost like my subconscious mind is telling you, I've proved to you before, once, twice, over and over again. Once you truly believe who you want to be, you could become who you want to be. How many more proof do you want me to prove to you before you can truly become who you want to be? Oh, it's a bit mouthful, but you know what I mean. So, so do start asking yourself this question. This is our subconscious mind will be reminding ourselves, our higher self will be reminding ourselves every day, what if you truly can be who you want to be? And then start going from there.
Okay. Thank you, Polly. So yes, John, thank you for reminding me to talk about what we're going to talk about in day 4. So tomorrow is going to be day 4 of this 5-day success challenge for entrepreneurs. And on day 4, we will talk about the how to beat fear and procrastination, how to beat that self-doubt, how to beat that limiting belief, and how to stay in charge no matter the circumstance, no matter the situation, no matter the environment you're in. If you have a goal that is so scary and that is so big that it's making you frustrated and doubtful about it, if you don't even know what your goal is, if you have been starting a business or applying some approach to business or starting to implement some new strategy and still not sure if it's the right one for you, or not sure if it's actually your belief system, is it your paradigm? Maybe we have triggered some questions in you today and the previous days. So we will talk about this and how exactly to beat that fear, that procrastination, and implement new habits effectively and easily. Also, stay in charge no matter what the circumstances are. So yeah, that was day 3 of the 5-day success challenge for entrepreneurs. My name is Nina Roberts. Today we are the Freedom Collective, and we have Jay Cordery, Polly Lou, and John Power. Thank you for listening to us. Please reach out if you have any questions about today or the previous days or the next few days. If you want us to talk about your question, your story, please feel free to reach out via email or on social media. We're here to answer your questions, and we want to help you. We want to share what we know with you. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.